Okay, so what we just saw earlier is that the fossil fuel reserves, it seems plentiful. At least we're not running out, going to be running out anytime soon. Okay, now okay, so here is kind of looking at, so here is a CO2 emission over time. So I want you to focus on this lime color here, that is China, right? And notice how where the rapid growth is coming from, right? So for the past, this goes up to 1960, sorry, 1970 on, and China, and China is always throughout this time, China is the most populous country in the world, and yet it didn't really expand its emission until the 2000s. But once it started expanding, then now you can see that here now China by far is the number one polluter CO2 emission in the world. Okay, another thing to kind of look at, and this is what we said before, that the OECD countries, right, starting from 1970s, has largely been plateaued. This is mostly a flat line. Also keep in mind that throughout this time, as we saw from the website, other countries has been added in to the OECD membership, right? So countries are increasing, population are increasing, and yet the total CO2 emission from the OECD countries are not increasing, right? So a lot of progress has been done, and emission has been lower by quite a bit throughout this time. Right, so we don't really see it here. But again, the focus here is the developing countries. So China and also non-OECD Asia. So that is excluding China. So that is India, Indonesia, and that is where also the growth is going to be coming from. Right. Right. Oh, and also one more. You can see non-OECD Europe and Eurasia. Nothing much to change, for that as well. One more picture to kind of show you where the demand for energy consumption is going to be coming from. This is the projection, but telling the same story. Right, the energy consumption, right, demand is going to be coming from non-OECD countries rather than OECD countries. Okay, so we just talked about reserve, right? And this, so then we're building up some evidence, right, to be able to say and make a prediction of what their energy usage is going to be. Because remember, most of these non-OECD countries, they're still using a lot of biomass, and so now they will switch over. We are expecting them to switch over to fossil fuel, right? Especially if there's plenty of reserve. Right. So we look at across time from 1998 to 2008 to 2018. Focus on Asia Pacific. Right. This is a proven reserve of coal. Right. And we see that right. And we see that Asia Pacific, their proven reserve is increasing, meaning that they are searching. They have been busy looking for more coal. Right. Whereas the reserve, the North America, nothing much to change. Europe, Europe also increase, also increase there a little bit actually. Okay, all right. Now, so and finally, okay, there's a lot of graphs here, but telling the same story, right? Production, where's the coal production, right? Where is it? Who is producing it, and who is consuming it? Okay, so these are all markets that are emerging, right? They will become more developed, and they will consume more and more energy. Now, this is not to say that they shouldn't, of course, because their living standards in most of these countries are still relatively poor, and they have every right to become more developed and improve their living quality. The question is, the question is there an alternative, right? Or is it inevitable that they will have to follow the same path as all the other developed countries where they will use fossil fuel? So now we talk about renewable energy.